Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my review of Bowmore 12, 15 and 18. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. My brother was kind enough to lend me some more whisky. This trio of Bowmores, it's the 12, the 15 and the 18. Bowmore is a distillery on the island of Islay, established in 1779, and it's well known for its peated whiskies. It's currently owned by Beam Suntory, and it's a whisky that I've not had much experience with. I've tried a few. I have tried the 12 before. I've tried a few others, including a couple of Fishiel bottlings, but it's it's one I like a reasonable amount, but I've never actually owned one. I've always been in a position to be able to try other people's, and this gives me a good opportunity to try the 3 core age statement bottles side by side. Should we find out what they taste like? On to the whiskey. Right, so let's start off with the 12-year-old. The colour, unfortunately, I think all of the Bowmores have artificial colouring. This is, according to Bowmore, a warm amber, but obviously it's engineered that way. It's also chill filtered, and the 12 is only 40%. But let's see what it's like on the nose. Okay, so there's 2 things I get immediately. One is sort of tropical fruits, and the other is peat smoke. That peat smoke is a little bit meaty, hint of iodine. Not too medicinal on the nose. Yeah, that smoke is a sort of combination of sort of medicinal or lightly medicinal, sort of man-made sort of smoke character, and that sort of earthy, slightly meaty smell. Yeah, it's a little bit sweet on the nose, but don't really pick up too much more other than that. Let's try the 15. The 15, again, is coloured. They call that a burnt sienna, but it's 43%, unlike the 12. And also it's matured in sherry casks for the last 3 years of its life. Try it on the nose. Okay, you can definitely pick up the sherry on the nose. The smoke is less pronounced on this, but the sweetness is definitely different. It's getting the sweetness from the sherry on the nose rather than from the rather than that sort of tropical fruit nose. Yeah, the peat is quite earthy, a little bit yeasty, but it's not too strong on the 15. And the 18, again, it is coloured, but that's called a mellow mahogany, according to Bowmore. It's also at 43%. I don't know what casks this has been in. It didn't say on the web when I did a quick search. Probably ex-bourbon. Could be in sherry for some of it, but it didn't actually say, so I don't know. Okay, I'm getting tropical note. That's quite strong, lovely and sweet. But the peat on the nose is really, really quite light. It's there, but Yeah, it's sort of like smoked meats, but it's really gentle. Yeah, lovely tropical sweet fruits on the nose with that one. Okay, I'll start by tasting the 12. Starts off quite light, and then you can feel the smoke emanating from the liquid. It's like you've sort of breathed in bonfire when you've got a bit too close to a bonfire smoke and inhaled that. It then gets quite spicy and peppery, but once you've swallowed the liquid and it starts to evaporate, you can then get those sort of tropical fruit notes. Let's have another sip. Yeah, I'd say it's quite a gentle Islay whiskey. That smoke is very present, it's very pleasant, and it's not too strong, it's not too dominating, it's not too overpowering. But I wouldn't say that's a beginner's smoky whiskey. Try and avoid that if you're not familiar with Islay whiskies. I do remember it being a bit meatier and a bit stronger. The first time I tried that was some time ago, and probably earlier on in my whiskey journey. So obviously my palate has evolved, and my tastes have obviously changed a bit. Right, on to the 15. Do you know what? Just as I put that towards my nose, I can pick up the tropical underneath that sort of Oloroso sort of sherry character. That one's quite pleasant. The smoke is completely different. I think the mix with the sherry casks has sort of changed the profile of the liquid. The smoke isn't very dominant. The sherry isn't too dominant either, but the sweetness that it's given it reminds me a bit of the Lagavulin Distillers edition, where Lagavulin 16 has been matured in sherry cask for some of its life. I have reviewed that. I'll stick a link up there if you want to take a look. But it's yeah, it's not that smoky. Let's go for another sip. Okay, second sip. Okay, with the second sip, I'm getting more of that sherry character. You're getting the tannins, the sort of, you know, the dry sort of bitterness that you get from those grape skins. It's quite present, but it's interesting because the way it sort of blends with the smoke in the whiskey, neither dominate. So so neither are overpowering. I think they work really well together. I think that's more approachable than the 12 if you're not a smoke fan. It's got the right amount of smoke. It's got a peppery prickle though. It's 43%, so I don't know if that's to do with the way it's been matured or the ABV that gives it that, but it's yeah, it's a good mix. There is a sort of a dryness, more wood dryness now on the finish, and the smoke is lingering, but it's quite light. It's yeah, with the dry wood on the finish, it's more of a dry wood smoke now than an earthy smoke. But yeah, it's quite pleasant, that. Right, let's move on to the 18-year-old. Right, that one's a completely different animal. Getting a lot more heat. It's making me salivate as well, which tend to get with higher ABV whiskies. This is only 43%, so it's quite a surprise. That peppery prickle is lingering on the tongue quite a lot. There's not much smoke, but you get more of the tropical fruits. The tropical fruits dominate over the smoke on this one. It's quite a surprise. I was expecting, for some reason, more smoke. I was expecting it to have a bit more punch, maybe some sort of really strong earthy or meat smoke. But it's yeah, it's more gentle than I was expecting. It could be that that's the intention. It's supposed to be more mellow. Because it's an 18-year-old whiskey, but it's yeah, it's an unusual one. I'm gonna have another sip. Yeah, again, peppery prickle, heat, lots of tropical fruits, and not much smoke. It's yeah, it's probably my favourite of the three already, but it's the most expensive as well. The 12 I think comes in around £25 when it's an offer. The 15 is around 45 to 50, I think, and the 18 is about 80. I find it very difficult to pick out enough characteristics in peated whiskies to sort of discern age, and this has clearly shown that to me. Again, I've tried 3 different whiskies and I couldn't actually accurately pick out any sort of age from these whiskies, and that's why, even though the 18 is my favourite, it's probably hard to justify its price as well. Could be my palate's not developed enough. I've not probably drunk enough peated whiskey of different vintages to have a really good understanding of them. But obviously there's 3 different flavour profiles, 3 different ages, and 3 distinct characters that come out from these whiskies. None of them are unpleasant, but for me, the strong tropical fruits with that sort of light peat smoke in the background wins over for me. So yeah, they're all not bad, but the 18 is my favourite. Until next time, Sláinte. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment, and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.